What's up, everyone? This is Ryan with Rigs of Death Metal. My guest today, Marvin with Stabbing. And uh, are you alive or full time member for Devourment now?
Full time. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm doing some writing too and all that shit. So
hell yeah. Well,
yeah.
dude, how's your weekend going, dude?
Pretty good. I've been home for like a day and a half, I guess, from tour. So uh
Nice.
we just finished that tour with Suffocation and came home and kind of just slept a lot. And now I'm starting to write got some new ideas and shit. So
Fuck yeah. Ideas for which band or just kind of just getting stuff down in general?
for I'm writing for Stabbing right now, but I'm getting ready to record a Devourment thing. So it's like
Hell
you
yeah.
gotta juggle both.
Do you I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I definitely want to kind of go into songwriting for the different projects because I always enjoy interviewing people that have multiple bands going on and kind of how they differentiate or how they kind of split their brain from going to one mode to the other. But
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of gear nerds out there that I think like to go ahead and get that out of the way. So we'll just kind of do a quick little rig run through. Um, so first off, guitar wise, what are you using for the different bands, or is it one setup for everything?
It's one setup. I mean, more or less, it's like I just got these Jackson soloists that I really like. I got one right here. Uh, it's like the archtop soloist from like '08, '09, 7 string, made in Japan. I got one that's stock and it has the EMGs in it, and then I got one where I replaced the bridge pickup with a Duncan Invader, and then I gutted the neck pickup, and then I just went for a straight into the volume knob. Um, for Devourment, I play in A standard, and then for Stabbing, I play in B standard.
Hell yeah. Which I love those Jacksons.
Yeah, they're sick.
I've who else? Somebody else I saw that has one. I love just like the traditional Jackson headstock on a seven, like with just
Mhm.
the fucking huge.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like the ones where they do the 3 and 4,
Yeah,
like
like
how they
they're
have the new headstock that's like that, and then
yeah,
like I like the shark fin inlays, so I'm glad that those have them because they got those new like little spider fang looking ones that I kind of don't like too much. So
right.
yeah,
It's I'm sure, if you want to be technical, I guess string pull is better on like the I don't know what you would call like the more pointed like headstock that's like 3 and 4, but I don't know. It's just hard to beat the classic Jackson headstock, standard or
yeah,
reversed. It's just iconic.
yeah. I just like it because it looks like the 6 strings, like
Yeah.
the 6 strings right style everybody jamming. Like it's pretty cool.
Have you seen the new Jeff Loomis soloist
Yeah, I've seen that one.
where they kept the headstock and everything? Like that one looks
Mhm.
sick.
I thought about getting one because it has that these are 25.5 inch scale, and I think that one's like 26.5 or something like that. So
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a little longer. I kind of want to get one of those.
it'd be killer. It'd suit
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
And you run any kind what amp are you running right now?
For both bands, I use like the same setup. It's just 6505 plus, and I just use a Boss NS2 through the front, so I don't use any pedals or anything like that. It's just straight EQ off the 6505.
Oh yeah, hard to beat. One of um one of the very few amps that I think can get by without anything extra, you know?
Hmm.
Like and I've tried a bunch of them and they can sound really really cool with an overdrive, but yeah, you could totally get by without it. Don't need it.
Yeah, I just experiment with the presence and the resonance, and you can get like a overdriven sound out of it without needing the whole having a whole pedal, a whole cable to worry about. If anything goes wrong, you got to troubleshoot and like find what's wrong in like a patch of cables, and so it's just like it's easier
Yeah.
to just plug straight in and play.
I say I think them and maybe Engel are the only two off the top of my head that could probably get away with it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
angles is big too.
yeah. What about cabs? What are you running cab wise?
For cabs, I've been using this. It's like a Randall Thrasher, oversized 412 that has the Celestion V30s in it, and it's really sick because it's got the removable casters, so you can take
Okay.
them out and just like put it straight on the stage, and it like really resonates. It's a really dark sounding cab. I like uh I like Mesa 412, oversized.
Classic.
Yeah, just anything like that. I mean, Vader's like they got the Black Ops and stuff like the I played some at CDF, Chicago Domination Fest, and
Mhm.
it was pretty cool, you know.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
That's kind of whenever I was gigging, which it's been a while.
mhm.
That was you can probably see behind me the Avatar cab that's kind of looming in the background behind me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always kept no casters on it too for the same reason. I don't know, and I had like 80-watt selections in it, and I don't know.
shit.
It's cool. Just kind
Yeah, it
of
feels better,
yeah.
you know.
Um, what'd you just out of curiosity? What'd you say for Devourment? A standard?
Yeah, we're in A standard on 7. They used to play in like they were playing 8 strings, like
Yeah.
drop F or something crazy. But we've just been playing A standard lately for the new stuff that we're writing.
Hell yeah. That's kind of why I was curious because I remember because I thought Chris Andrews was like the fucking man, which I guess he's having some health problems or something.
Yeah, I think he's chilling out because of health issues.
Sure. But yeah, I mean I watched that one rig video he did with like digital tour bus or something with the fucking
Oh,
eight
yeah, I
string
saw
ML
that.
and
I
shit.
saw that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I know some of the guitar tones that they've had in the past. Um, a lot of digital stuff and stuff that's just kind of like a little more budget friendly. What would you say would be kind of like a tone inspiration? Like how did you come like get to where you're at now with your tone?
Tone inspiration. I guess I always liked like when I was growing up, I got into Metallica. That was like one of the first bands. You know, everybody like Metallica, Pantera, like those type of bands, and you know they all kind of had like the scoop mid sound, very punchy, and so I try to go for that. And you know, there's like Deeds of Flesh and just other bands. I just really gravitate towards like the dark guitar tone. Like I try to find a balance between having like a little bit of mud in that sense, but also wanting to like cut through like little sharpness. But just
Right.
I think that's why the PV works so well because like the way I EQ it is I go for zero mids to give it the dark sound, but then I crank the presence, which kind of pushes it up to the front and it gives it a little bit of like that almost like a static like crackle, you know, like it gives it a little bit of an overdriven feel and it kind of gives it that sharpness that you lose when you lose all the mids. So
Right. Hell yeah. What would you say your inspiration when it comes to riffing and songwriting would be? And I guess this kind of is our way back around into your whole songwriting process for your individual bands.
yeah, so let's see. We're talking influences. I It's always gonna be the classics more than like the modern stuff, just because I feel like I don't know. It's like I like to try to look at people that have kind of like paved the way a little more, just see like how they do it and what they've done versus like what's going on right now. Because then I feel like things get like competitive and weird. So you know, like I'd say like James Hetfield's always a big influence for his picking hand. You know, just the way he kind of down picks everything. Like I try to apply that to the way that I play. I always thought it was really cool. Like I love guitar duos, but I those are sick. But like I never really had access to like jamming with somebody and like getting sick with somebody like that. You know how a lot of those guitar players had to like really sit down and jam together to like build that chemistry and like
Sure.
be a unit. You know, so it's like I look Dimebag, Sean Whitaker. You know, he's a One Man Band, Putrid Pile, all those guys that like just were able to write on their own and do stuff like that. So like I'd say like those are most of my like influences for my writing and playing. For stabbing, we try to go. It's a little focus on speed, but also groove, like the blasting groove thing, and it's I try to cover a lot of ground on the fretboard and like just write catchy licks, like trying to find the balance between like being kind of as technical as I can get while also being able to have fun and jam out. So there's like a balance there. If you go too technical, then you're not really able to like put on a show.
Sure.
And so I try to go for that, and also like just being flashy, but also being catchy. It's like kind of the goal, like for that songwriting. And then for Devourment, it's just being heavy, being crushing. Like more or less. I try to keep it above the fifth fret for them, and then just try to do as much as I can with like just the lower register.
Yeah.
And because they don't really have like sweeps and like crazy shit like that.
No.
It's like I would never like put anything like that in their music.
No, absolutely. I almost would think a band like Devourment where they kind of have a
Shit, I
legacy
think the
and
signal's cutting out again.
oh, hang on. There we go.
But okay, where do we get lost?
We didn't I don't think we missed too much that time.
Oh, okay.
I would almost think a band like Devourment or trying to write for a band like that has like a
Uh,
legacy and something to expect out of.
mm,
It
yeah,
makes it a little easier to kind of conform like, okay, well, I know they tend to favor this, and this kind of riff and doing this and this kind of change. Kind of gives you at least like some kind of parameter
yeah,
to kind of work with. What?
yeah. It's like the blueprint is there.
Yeah,
Like don't there's kind of like a box almost where it's like you don't want to step out of it too much. You don't want to like I don't know. I don't want to start putting like guitar solos and shit over like Devourment. Like they've
yeah,
always just been all riff, like all heavy. So yeah.
yeah. It's like I see the Vital Remains banner behind you, and that's like one of my probably top three bands. Love all the lead work, and I'm a solo junkie.
Mm,
But some bands, it would just feel really weird and alien and forced. Devourment being
yeah.
one of them, for sure.
Well, yeah, it's like, love Battle Remains, love Dave Suzuki, but I'm not gonna try to do any like melodic solos over Devourment. It's like
Yeah,
it has to be Devourment.
for
And it's
sure.
cool. It actually, it's a lot of pressure to come in and like try to write for something that's established and has like, a legacy, like you said. But at the same time, it's like it does help that they have so many albums and that, they've been through all their changes, and then it's like there's the constant, there's the pattern there, and it's like so it's kind of just like just follow that.
For sure. Um, so you talked a little bit about your early influences, kind of talk about how you first got into playing music. Like, did you start taking lessons or something whenever you were young, or any find a guitar in a dumpster or anything, anything like that?
uh, yeah, I I was mostly grew up like I was listening to like rap and shit like that, like when I was like elementary school, middle school, and then new metal, discovered that, and I was like, it's kind of cool because it's kind of like what I like, but then they're playing, guitar and shit, and there's riffs, and so I'd ask my parents for like guitar, and they're kind of like, oh well, you're just gonna play it for like 2 weeks, and not, because it's like when you're a kid, the attention span isn't there. So like it took a couple of years of me asking, or yeah, then I finally got a guitar, and I never really took lessons. I just kind of just fumbled around until I figured it out. It just took a really long time. Like I'd say I was maybe like 14 or 15 when I finally got a guitar, but I didn't start doing anything with it until I was maybe like 16 or 17. Like it took me forever to even figure out how to like just use the frets, because there wasn't YouTube and all that shit. So I'd look up guitar tabs and I didn't really know what I was looking at. It just looked like a bunch of crazy numbers. So yeah, I mean, basically self-taught though. Like
Oh yeah.
I think the closest I've come to taking lessons is just jamming with a lot of like better musicians. Just
Yeah.
learning their stuff, and that's it.
I feel like some of the biggest kind of hurdles that I've ever made with guitar playing was when I had somebody better than me, at least in a some kind of area. Maybe somebody that was really sick at like down picking, or they just played a different way than me. And it's a especially if they have like a any kind of theory background that maybe I didn't or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. There's something to be said about just jamming with other people as a learning experience, not even necessarily like a guitar lesson.
hmm And it sucks because like the older you get, the harder it is to like have that time. So it's really just one of those things where like I am grateful that it's like a kid and like I did kind of have like little buddies that played too, and I'd be able to go over there for a day and play guitar maybe for like 30 minutes or something. But like I specifically remember the dude that taught me to do a pinch harmonic. I'd been playing for a couple of years at that point, and I knew like Slayer songs and I knew Metallica songs on guitar, but I didn't know how to do a pinch harmonic, And my friend Enrique was like, "Oh, it's easy. You just got to do this." Now I abuse pinch harmonics. I do them all the time. So
Right. Do entire riffs, pinch
mhm.
harmonicking every
Oh
every
yeah,
note.
I got one that's almost like that.
Dude, I honestly I love riffs like that. I think
Mhm.
you remember the band Psyopus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what song it was, but I think they were the first band I ever heard do that, where every note of the riff was a pinch harmonic, and it just
Oh
sounds
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, Pete Trinity's my favorite for pinch harmonics. Like they got some
Oh yeah,
really insane, the placement of them and everything is fucking crazy.
yeah. Gotta love the squealies.
hmm
Um, so what kind of musical goals have you set for yourself, both like personally and within the context of the bands?
Uh, I guess just keeping it consistent with the writing is like a big thing, you know. Like I'm not sure what specific goals there are. Like I think I've never been to like Europe. Like we played a show in Switzerland, but it was just like a festival. And it was a one off. So it's like I've never seen all of Europe. Like I'd love to tour Europe. Um, and I'm sure there's other places too. It's just like off the top of my head, I can't even think of it. It's just like I just feel like as long as we just keep going, the opportunities will kind of pop up. So yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I guess not stopping is a goal.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, perfectly good, perfectly reasonable goal.
yeah, it's simple.
I, I think I feel like my day-to-day life is sometimes like that. Just don't stop.
Yeah,
Just kind of
yeah,
just keep the wheels from falling off.
yeah. Just get through the day, go to sleep, look and see you the next day.
Right. Not that it's a certainly not a bad thing. If anything, it's probably for the betterment. But you don't strike me as much of like a super like gear nerd, like just seeking stuff out just to try it out kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
you I feel like there's two different kind of guitar players. There's guys that like trying shit out for fun, for the fun and love of just trying shit out. And then there's
Mhm.
other guys where they're able to be a little bit more I guess pragmatic, and they only seek out gear as like tools to solve a specific issue if there is
Yeah.
one. And if stuff's working, then don't bother it. Is there anything in that kind of realm? Like like it could be something just a problem solver, like a wireless unit or a different kind of tuner or different kind of amp if you're not totally satisfied with your tone or whatever. Anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like I do a lot of window shopping online. I'm always looking at stuff and I'm always looking at what other people use. But just realistically in my life, it's like, I grew up like not with, I didn't have a lot of money growing up. And then I think um like as an adult, I look at money as like, let's go have fun and like do something to enjoy the day. And I don't really like spend money on like what do you say, like items, I guess. Like, so I don't
Toys,
like
you know?
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't hoard gear or anything like
sure.
that. I've always because I guess I've always had this rational thing too where I'm thinking, okay, if I have like 10 awesome sick ass guitars and someone breaks in and steals them, like I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Sure.
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep the couple that I need. And like same with amps. It's like I just go for like what I need and I try to keep it minimal, I guess, for that reason, just because I kind of grew up that way. It's like maybe just ingrained in my mind. But yeah, like I'd say if I had anything that I wanted or that I was looking at, I'm always looking at like the new Mesas because I always like the dual rectifier sound. But
Same.
like I always liked it. It's like really chunky and dry, and then you can push it and I've looked at those Badlanders and I've looked at the PRS Archon. Like I heard that was kind of like in the Mesa realm, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always reading up and looking at stuff. Ingles are sick, but yeah, I'm probably just gonna keep the rig that I have until something fucks up with it. I was making the joke on the tour that PVs are like the 6505 is like the Honda Civic of guitar amps because we all had one. Like I
Right.
had one. Luke from Incantation, Charlie, and Terrence, they were all using 6505 pluses. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if mine fucks up, I can use any one of yours. If yours fucks up, you can use mine. It's like they're just accessible and parts are cheap to fix. They're quick to fix. They're easy to replace, and so I think that's why I go for those.
Not a bad point. I was having this conversation, a similar conversation yesterday. Um it almost seems like blasphemy. I had a 90s two-channel dual rectifier for like over a decade, right? It was like my main amp
Yeah,
forever. And at the height of like like COVID and all that stuff driving up, you know, prices on used gear, I flipped it for almost like I want to say almost three times what I paid for it is what it is. But and I ended up getting like a Kemper set up and it's super sick and makes all the home recordings I do now really easy. But dude, those a lot of the like modelers and digital stuff that's even currently in production, um, if something goes wrong with them, even now with them being made every day, it's still a pain in the ass to try to get them fixed or repaired or replace anything.
yeah.
And like even old amps are still quicker and easier to fix. Like a classic Marshall or something is
Mm.
way quicker turnaround on a repair. So I don't know. It's it does make you kind of reconsider a little bit what is
Yeah,
convenient.
yeah. I always wanted like really nice like boutique rig, just like some sick shit that no one else has, so you can just kind of be like, yeah, I got this unique amp with this unique guitar with this unique pickup and all this shit to make a unique sound. Like honestly, like there's people that do that, and that's like fucking awesome, because they really take their time doing their research and experimenting with everything.
Oh
It
yeah.
seems it seems fun, but it's like if any of that messes up, you gotta like mail it back to wherever, wait a couple months. In the meantime, you gotta play a backup, which is probably something just cheap and easy to find. So
Sure.
mm,
I uh I get I guess I've been kind of lucky there with some of the techs that we've had around here. I think that Mesa. No, I take that back because I had a Laney Ironheart and that thing's got a lot of bells and whistles too. Um, I don't know. I try to stay away from like the real spaceshipy kind of amps. Uh,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
it a lot of this stuff has gone the way of like a lot of modern cars where there's so many like computers and electronic components that you almost have to take it back to like a dealership or something and let them fix it. You
Yeah.
can't take it to a little mom and pop garage anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of times got to go back to the source,
Yeah.
the people that like hand wired that shit, and you know,
Yeah. Uh, I'm really rethinking my rig now.
yeah,
Well, I kind of also covered my next question too, like what's worked for you and what are you looking for? But
yeah, I
uh,
guess, yeah.
yeah. Well, we can kind of talk how you got the how did you wind up with the Devourment gig? Did you guys play with them or anything? How did you all cross paths?
Uh, I guess we've known them for a while. Um, Bridget has known them for a long time. I didn't really know them because they're kind of like they're a little ominous, but they're there on the internet and shit. But they're, I didn't know them. Like, um, saw them live a few times. The last time, uh, we saw them when they played in Houston, and it was on this last tour with Ingested, and actually hung out with the drummer, Brad. Like
Yeah.
hung out after the show, and I guess yeah, we by then we were like acquainted on the internet. We were like Facebook friends, or and after the tour, they just kind of just randomly hit me up at some point. I mean, it's kind of it happens so random that it's kind of really vague in my mind. Like I can't I don't know exact details. It was just more or less just like, hey, dude, you want to jam? And I was like, sure. And yeah, it was really like a regular thing. It wasn't like crazy or anything. I uh I went out to Dallas. I guess they stay like 4 hours away from me, so I went over there and we just we jammed, and yeah, it was cool. It was really sick.
Hell
And then
yeah.
I went on tour, and uh,
That's awesome. Uh did were you kind of a big Devourment fan like coming up through school or anything? Was it a little bit even like kind of like even a little bit surreal playing for a band that you known of for a while or
yeah, it felt weird, like usually when like really cool shit happens, I try not to get too excited about it, just in case it like doesn't work out, or So I didn't. I kind of went into it with kind of this blank mindset. Like I was just like, oh, okay, they asked me to jam, so I'm gonna just go over there and jam. And you know, um, I think I didn't hear Ruben do vocals in person until like the third time we jammed. So like the first two times, it was just like me and Brad like fucking riffing and shit, and Ruben was just kind of just watching me play, and it was like really uh a little bit intimidating, I guess. Like I was just kind of like, is he gonna do vocals? But he like kind of just didn't hop on the mic. He was just watching, and they had good things to say, and we wrote a song, and it's just we're here. It's really cool.
hell yeah.
Like we're all obviously we're all Devourment fans. It's like you're in a Texas death metal band. It's like that's who you're trying to be. And
Sure.
so it's just yeah, I don't know. It's awesome.
I'd say so. Uh well, from there we will kind of jump into our kind of wrap up question here. Um what would be your top 4 death metal bands and or albums? And you don't have to name Devourment for bonus points.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. And they are, but like, yeah, I'm
Yeah, sure.
not gonna do it. Yeah, it's kind of given,
Start wear your Devourment merch to every show.
right? Yeah, that's the thing that sucks is that I'm like, I feel lame now if I wear a Devourment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen some live videos where even they're wearing their own merch. So
yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it.
yeah. A lot of those old promos and shit, like
Sure.
like more than one member's wearing like a Devourment hoodie or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess top four death metal bands or albums.
Yeah, whatever's easier. You can do
Uh,
both. You can do one or the other.
yeah, I mean Suffocation. You know, we just we just did the tour with them, and it was just fucking awesome. Like I'm still, I don't think I've been home long enough to really get the whole like, you know, decompressing from that. It was like a nonstop month of moving around and shit. But you know, Terrence has been a hero for a long time, and to like a lot of us, you know. So I'd say Suffocation. Um, shit, trying to think. I mean, Defeated Sanity, like the Suffocation. Um, fucking bands like Putridity and Devangelic, you know, like just relentless. Fucking Disgorge, you know. That's another band that we're all trying to be.
Okay. Well, dude, I think that pretty much wraps it up. First off, I want to thank you for coming on here. Is there anything you kind of want to plug or throw out there before we hop off? Any upcoming tours or releases, anything like that?
Right now we don't have anything lined up. Whereas, you know, just writing for Stabbing. There's gonna be some new development at some point soon, you know. So, um, yeah, just want to thank you for hitting me up to do this. You know, it's kind of spontaneous, you know, but you know,
Sure.
you hit me up and then we're like, all right, let's do it right away. Just, you
Right.
know, so it's been great, man. Thank you for this, and thank you to our booking agent Dan for getting us on awesome tours, and to the people that come out to the shows and the bands that we tour with. You know, like just thankful for everything. Just kind of not
Absolutely.
expecting to be here, but here we are.
Absolutely. I'm glad we were able to kind of line this out, and I'm glad everything's been aligning for you. It just seems like you're getting more and more opportunities, and that's fucking killer. Um uh that did remind me. I'm sorry, there was another thing I wanted to ask.
Mm,
Um because I was listening I was listening to your all's demo from this year.
mm.
Uh who do you guys record with for Stabbing, and then with Devourment, who are you guys going into the studio with, if you're allowed to say?
I'm not sure who we're going to the studio with. I think that Brad's recording some drums this weekend, so maybe even today he might be there doing it right now. And I'm assuming it's going to be a studio in Dallas or something local, just you know. So I'm not sure who they're working with, but then for Stabbing, the demo that we just recorded, we did at Southwing Audio in Houston, and those are some good friends of mine, Chris and Ben. They work there, and you know they're great at what they do. And hopefully next year we do a full length there too. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, yeah. I just as like an aspiring recording nerd too. I know Obscene Majesty they did with Rattan, so I was like kind of fingers crossed did it again because that album sounds fucking amazing.
Oh, I think they did Conceived with Rutan.
Did they do that one too?
Yeah, Obscene they did with fuck, I don't want to butcher his name. I think it's Braxton, the
Okay.
guy that did Molesting and Decapitated.
Oh, okay.
That's
Maybe
what they did Obscene Majesty with, I'm pretty sure.
okay. Maybe I got it backwards. I remember seeing like a YouTube video. Maybe it was a studio for the other one then.
Yeah, I think it's the one before Obscene because
Okay.
Ruben was playing guitar during those days. I had a lot of questions
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, I was asking him like, what was it like recording guitar with fucking Eric Rutan recording you, you know? And he said it was very meticulous, but you know,
I believe it.
it was a whole crazy process.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Devourment has like kind of a signature, almost a signature sound, but
Mm.
it feels like Obscene. It just kind of takes that and then just amplifies it times 100.
Yeah,
So
I think
I'll go
a,
ahead.
a big part of that is just yeah, just having like, you know, the Ruben on vocals, Brad on drums, and then going to like the original guy that recorded, you know, the original album. I think it took that, and then, you know, modern times, modern technology just like fucking amplified it, which that was pretty cool. And they were using 8 strings now and all this shit. So
Hell yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much. I'm excited to hear what you got going on with every project. I want more of everything. Been super into all the slamming stuff lately, so more the merrier. But thanks for taking the
awesome.
time, man. Really
Yeah,
enjoyed having you on.
thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap.
Sounds good, dude. Hey, we'll
All right,
catch
dude.
up later.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you guys for checking it out. We'll see you next time.